All right, per usual, all playoff meetings are recorded. It's starting now, so anything you say will be recorded and used against you later.
ECU is trash.
Okay, buddy. Um, so just want to make sure we're ranking 25 best teams. You cannot rank based on what's coming or potential injuries, anything like that. Just what we've seen. Top 25, there's no auto bids or anything either, so we don't have to worry about that yet. So, with that being said, anybody want to make a case for not Boston College at number 1?
Nope.
Well, I think you can make a strong case for Baylor or Michigan State at number 1.
I like Baylor at number 1.
So I think that Michigan State, you just can't put them at number 1 just because of the head-to-head with Baylor. Because Baylor has a say in it, but they did get the win. But Baylor is just monstrous. I mean, fuck, man, 62 points.
Yeah, dude, that's 4 weeks in a row of almost putting up 60 week.
Pain.
All right, so let's look at this, right? Their only loss week 1. We know Baylor loses those games. It's against a decent Minnesota team. Then you beat Illinois, Michigan State, Notre Dame, who's a good team. 3 easy ones, and then you beat Iowa State, and West Virginia is meh. So 4 really high quality wins, and then let's just take a look at the ACC.
Yeah, wasn't Boston College's resume pretty pathetic last time?
So Toledo.
Okay, the Toledo win's actually pretty solid at this point.
The Pitt game is pretty good. I know they dropped one, and
No,
then Syracuse.
no, the game is not good. No.
But look how they beat these teams though. Like it's not close either.
Yeah, but it's also a really shitter schedule.
It is.
I get Baylor has a loss, and it's Boston College is still beating the hell out of these teams, and they're a P5 team. I just think Baylor's way more impressive at this point because with Boston College, they're putting up 30, 40 points a game on these bum schools, and Baylor's out here dropping 60 points on everybody's head.
Yeah,
I think they're beating teams similarly, but I think Baylor's played a much tougher schedule.
Yeah.
I think if BC played the schedule Baylor had, they'd have probably at least 2 losses by now. I mean, I don't think Boston College is a bad team, and I would have them really high up, but I think probably Baylor should be number 1.
Yeah, I mean, I think the way this shakes out, I think it's Baylor 1, Boston College 2, and Michigan State 3.
Yeah, and then Ohio State dropping to 4?
Or do we keep Florida in front?
Okay.
Personally, I've got Ohio State at 4.
All right, let's go through and look at all the teams because I'm forgetting people. All right, so we got Boston College, right, in this area. ECU, but I think they're below the top tier. Baylor and Colorado might have a say, but not at number 1.
TC. Can we look at ECU's schedule real quick?
Yeah, and then Michigan State and Ohio State. But yeah, let's look at mine. I don't have a case for top 3. A win at Buffalo, which is okay. At ASU, that's a big win. Rutgers appears to be a win. Don't pay attention to any of the rankings on the screen because we're making them, right? These rankings aren't accurate, but Rutgers is a decent win. Southern Miss, I would say, is okay. And then I boat race these other teams. My defense isn't as strong as you'd like, but I definitely have 3 big games coming up.
Yeah,
I mean,
think
it's
ECU has to at least be in the conversation with Ohio State and Florida. And I don't know. In a way, you could almost debate ECU versus Boston College because, I mean, ECU has stronger wins. If we're being honest, I would put that Rutgers win right about with the Toledo win for Boston College, which is their best one. ASU is a better win than Boston College has.
But I wouldn't say that ECU is dominating teams like Boston College is.
That's a fair point.
And
they're winning by 14, but
and to be honest, I don't think Arizona State is as good as a win as y'all think. I think they're severely overranked. No, I'm just saying because if they have 2 losses and you're whatever, 13th with 2 losses, that makes sense until you realize both their losses are to G5.
I will say though
G5.
that Arizona State does dominate the Pac-12, both are out of conference. They have the stranglehold on the division because they did beat Utah, I believe. So, I mean, we'll see what
Has
happens.
Arizona State played Utah?
I believe they have. Here,
I'm
let me
actually
check.
not sure on that one.
But
If they did, it was early in the season.
all right, well, let's
'cause
take a look.
That would be a
here.
big one.
Yeah, it was early on. So,
Yeah, because I know ASU's beaten some decent
so
teams.
they
They had
beat-
Washington on the road.
Okay, where's the schedule? Oh no, they play them in 2 weeks, so that's probably gonna be game.
Yeah,
day.
I didn't
It
think they
was
had played
Washington
Utah.
that they beat. That was the big win they had early on.
Mm,
Yes, I mean that's an okay win.
And to be
The
fair,
UFC
it's a
is
double
alright.
overtime loss to Southern Miss.
Yeah,
then-
that's tough.
And then a Hail Mary loss to ECU. So still 2 G5 losses though.
I
And
wouldn't even really count ECU as a G5 loss.
I mean, at the time, ECU was like 20th in the nation or something,
Yeah.
something like that.
Let's also be honest, they aren't blowing teams out like normal, like obviously Washington State, but 3 points, 2 points, 10,
yeah.
then 21.
Yeah, no, I'd
Um,
put them somewhere in the 15 to 20 range probably.
All right, so let's stop getting off
Estimating.
track here. We're still at 1. Okay, so Baylor, we can all agree is at 1.
I would
Yes.
personally put Boston College there, but I'm okay with it.
Because I think I'd rather. I think next week, if you get to 10-0, then you can't say the undefeated's not number 1, right? But
Yeah, I mean,
This
I am the
week,
one also
Baylor.
preaching undefeated is undefeated, so.
yeah. But I still think just the way Baylor wins, especially it's such a big rivalry game against an Iowa State team who's so good on offense, like they just drummed them.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure what the vote is, but you kind of got me on my own words and made me change my mind. I just, like, I'm very supportive of the Baylor pick, dude, but it's just the undefeated is undefeated.
All right, so it's a 2-2 split.
It's a 2-2 tie.
I'll give the edge to Boston College just because they are undefeated. So
I don't know about that because low key I might rank Boston College 3rd or 4th at this point.
they're not going out lower than 2. I don't think there's any way you can.
I think you can
3
make
if
the
we
exact
think
same case for Michigan State over Boston College that you could for Baylor. Because, I mean, the only reason that we're putting Baylor over Michigan State is because they had that 2-point triple overtime head-to-head win.
Yeah, it's true. All right.
Because, realistically, Michigan State has the best win of any team, which was beating Ohio State on the road.
Yeah, Michigan State and Baylor both have the best wins. So, I mean, okay, I think we could do this probably 2 ways. Either you go Boston College, Baylor, Michigan State, or you go Baylor, Michigan State, because then I think it's kind of flip-flopping if you don't put both of them above because they're basically the same resume. And then
I just
Boston
don't
College
you can drop
third.
Boston College.
They were 2nd last week, and what did they do this week?
Close win against Syracuse.
It was. I mean, they had like a 3-score lead in the second half, and then
It's also
they
a
got
rivalry
close. It is rivalry. It was in the snow.
Yeah, and I mean Syracuse that's a legit win. That's probably their 2nd best win.
But
at this
okay,
point.
so think about it like this though, like IRL,
game.
right? You have a team who beats number 1, and let's be honest, this Ohio State win is more than just a number 1 win. It's a team that's lost maybe 2 games in the last 3 years in the regular season.
I mean, it's Tennessee over Alabama earlier this season.
All right.
Well, if it was on the road.
I've been swayed. I think we go Baylor, MSU, and then Boston College.
I don't know, dude. If that's the way we're going, I mean, I understand. I don't support dropping an
You're
undefeated
just really
team.
disrespecting a 9-0 team.
Yeah,
But look
I
at
just
the
don't. I mean,
schedule.
dropping.
They need to
No,
play.
I get it. I get it. Like I
Your
completely
best
understand
win's
the
Toledo.
argument. I made that argument too. It's just
Also,
I don't.
okay, this might sway you guys. They've played 3 road games at 9-0. 3 road games: NC State, Pitt, and Toledo.
Yeah, not to mention
I
they
mean,
have the 114.
Again, I don't see how we can sit here and punish an undefeated team now.
It's not really punishing as far as more as like Michigan State is just. Look at this. I mean, okay, so you could say Michigan State's gotten lucky because they have 3 overtime games.
I mean,
Mm-hmm.
they didn't have a win other than Ohio State, really.
Let's look back at their schedule.
I mean,
I don't
so
remember.
this
I don't
is
remember their schedule
now.
enough.
So this is Michigan State's
I had that
schedule.
minimized.
So you have Baylor. The loss, it was triple overtime on game day. Bradford Blazer by a yard, right? Buffalo, they drummed them. Wisconsin.
Okay, yeah, dude, look at this schedule. The only ranked team he played, he lost to.
I
Well,
mean,
and
Ohio
Ohio State.
State, though, is a clear and above best win in the country.
Oh, no, yeah, I understand that, but
Yeah.
like the only other ranked team he played, he lost to. Like other than that, it's just non-ranked scrubs.
Yeah, now that I look at this, I mean, a couple
Like I
overtime
definitely cannot
early
get
wins
behind
against
Boston
Iowa and
College going
Michigan.
below that.
I'd put Boston College probably over Michigan State. I hadn't really looked at the schedule for Michigan State. Yeah, I
So
could
do
see
you guys
putting
want to
Boston
go
College.
Baylor 1, Boston College 2, and then Michigan State 3?
I would be okay with that because you're
I'd be
not
fine
punishing
with it.
Baylor here.
I'd be fine with it.
Okay. So for now, we can always come back if something changes. So Baylor, BC, MSU. All right, so number 4. Now let me just do a quick one through just so we don't miss anybody and have to come back later. ACC, we're not ranking anybody till probably Miami a little later. ECU, we could start thinking about. Colorado, they're probably in that same tier with Colorado. Nebraska's not in really that conversation anymore. Big Ten, obviously. Okay, you got Ohio State and Northwestern. We'll come back to that. Houston, we do have to think about Houston. I think they're probably outside this echelon, but we'll see. Notre Dame, meh. MAC, no, not right now. Mountain West, not right now. Pac-12, Cal, you got to start thinking about. Utah, you got to start thinking about. Florida, Tennessee, probably not in this tier though. And Sunbelt, nothing. Okay, so for me, it's kind of now we got to decide between Florida and Ohio State right now.
I would at least look at East Carolina and Cal as well.
Okay, so this is
Utah.
Florida first. Oh, remember, 3-point loss, the same score, but it wasn't overtime to Ohio State, but a worse opponent. They do have the big win over Tennessee. Nothing else really that stands out. I guess Oklahoma's a little bit better because Texas A&M lost.
Yeah, they're still a 5-1 school though.
So that's Florida. Let's take a look at Cal here. The big win at Clemson, but they're not that great.
Not that big.
They are the one who beat Utah at Utah.
Okay.
That's a big win. They did lose in overtime once again, so another close one. Washington is an okay win, not a top 25 one though. And then they drummed Oregon. Moving on. Let's look at
USC's tough.
Here.
So USC's kind of good.
Utah the same way. Obviously, they lost by the touchdown, so you have to put Cal over them. No other great wins though. I mean, 2, 0, 3, 1, 6. Okay, the
their
USC
best wins
game.
USC.
So
I
wouldn't put
they're
Utah
one
in
loss
this echelon
BC.
right now.
No.
All right, and then next we're gonna go to let's check out Houston. Everyone's saying how great this win is. It's a 3-loss Washington. I don't necessarily think this is the best win ever.
But
yeah,
haven't all 3 of Washington's losses been to teams that we've discussed already?
Mm-hmm.
Because it was Houston, Cal, and somebody one of the top 3
ASU.
lost to Washington.
Yeah, it was ASU.
Oh, ASU. Yeah. So, I mean, all 3 of Washington's losses have been to really solid teams.
So then they lost at home by 7 to Georgia.
That loss, or that win
and
too
then
much.
beating everybody here. I'd say Louisiana and Rice are probably about the same tier win. Nothing like
Rice is better.
Yeah. So that's Houston. I still obviously you got to put ECU above them right now, but all right, Ohio State. Let's actually take a look here because Nevada is actually a decent win, not like anything. Minnesota, that was game day, low scoring. They eked that one out. Then they won in double overtime against Northwestern, which is a good win. Killed Oregon, killed Purdue, killed the Terps, and then they lost at home. So I think Florida's resume is a bit better than this, honestly. But then again, we gotta also consider the fact that it is Ohio State, right?
Yeah, isn't this her first loss in the regular season in like 3 straight seasons?
Yeah. So that's
Can we look back at
Colorado.
Florida real quick?
Yeah. Let's just get through these last teams. So Colorado, then they have the 2 FCS wins. They lost to Arkansas, which looks like an okay loss now, but it was 2 scores, and then they're just killing everyone lately. And then I think you guys want to see ECU once again, ASU on the road, Rutgers on the road. That's pretty much it so far. And then no one in there. So let's go back to Florida here. So Tennessee at Georgia, they lost. So only 1 ranked win for Tennessee.
I think I like Ohio State's resume.
Yeah,
though.
Florida's
I was going to
loss
say, I
is
think
worse
Ohio
too.
State's clear cut.
Yeah.
Yeah, Florida's
Yeah.
Florida's loss is way worse.
Okay, so
I
Ohio
don't even
State at
think
4.
Florida's loss is bad. Like, I respect Georgia. I think they're probably a top 15 team. But Florida just hasn't beaten anybody outside of Tennessee. And Ohio State has, like, 3 good wins.
Yeah. And that Tennessee loss obviously doesn't look as great anymore after they lost to Buffalo.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, so I have Ohio State at 4 and Florida at 5.
No,
And then-
not Florida at 5. I'd go ECU above Florida.
Yeah, undefeated.
Am I?
Yeah, I think ECU has
how am
more
I
quality
the
wins.
ECU hater here, and I'm literally their coach?
No, I think I'm with TC on this one.
Well,
Like, I know-
realistically, TC, you're not supposed to talk when ECU comes up,
Yeah,
right? So
yeah,
it should
you're
be
right,
a 2
you're
to 1 vote.
Yeah, it is. Like, my vote doesn't count. I will say though, like, personally, typically the G5, I am in favor of the G5, but I just don't think ECU is above Cal yet. Know what I mean?
Yeah, we can look at Cal, but
I
they're
think
above
Cal
Florida.
should definitely be in front of ECU.
I don't get
Does
a vote,
Cal have
so
a
if you guys
loss?
decide. But they have they lost to USC in overtime on BearCave. So Florida lost. They have another ranked win though, which was the Washington game. I don't know. And
And going
Clemson
into
was
Oregon and
technically a
going into
number 1
Clemson.
team.
Yeah, I mean, I don't see Clemson or Oregon as good teams, if I'm being honest. I see them as, like, barely bowl teams.
Right.
But that win over Utah is really legit. And I think they've done a better job of kind of blowing out their opponents versus ECU. So I guess it really, for me, it depends on how much you value that loss to USC.
That's a tough loss, dude.
So
I mean, it wasn't
both
home,
losses in
which is-
overtime. It was
that's
on
tough.
BearCave. Both of these were on BearCave. If you think about how they lost, they both blew a lead late. Florida missed an overtime field goal and lost on the field goal, and then I think Cal just gave up a touchdown and couldn't score. So
Yeah, I think right now I would go ECU 5, Cal 6, Florida 7.
I would go Cal, ECU, Florida.
I'm with Hank on the ECU Cal Florida.
so I think Cal's above Florida, so I think we win on that. And I don't get to vote on ECU, so that means you guys win. So ECU at 5. And then you guys have Cal and then Florida. So Florida dropping. People are not going to be happy about that. Mainly Nick. Alright. So let's just take another gander here at everybody. So teams to start thinking about now. We still have some one-loss teams, but start thinking about Tennessee and Texas A&M. Start thinking about Arizona State, but more so Utah. Start thinking about Houston. That's probably coming up. Big Ten, Northwestern. We gotta see how high we want them. Also Illinois. Big 12, Colorado. And then American, we already ranked ECU. Middle Tennessee, I think if we rank them, will be later. and then I don't think anybody else here at this high. So the only one-loss teams remaining are Houston, Colorado, and Utah. Anyone have any thoughts?
I would like Utah and then Colorado.
I think that's how we swung last week, mainly because Colorado's schedule is so ass.
Yeah.
And
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if we're
and a one score to
scheduled
Cal.
for these three,
Like, okay, so Colorado has 2 FCS wins.
ooh,
This is Utah's.
so I can't remember who they played this week, but I actually had
Washington.
Utah's schedule worse than Colorado going into the week.
So you have Utah here. They faced Washington State, so not a great win. Honestly, the last month of the season for them has been really bad, but they played Cal. They don't have a marquee win. Utah doesn't. Colorado's loss was 2 scores to Arkansas, which honestly continues to get better and better. But I don't know how we can't discount 2 FCS teams. The TCU win looks a little better. But the Nebraska is really the only thing here. So it's really like, do you value more the Nebraska win and 2 FCS wins? Or do you value like the USC and Stanford win and facing actual teams? You know what I mean?
I don't think that
And Utah's the better loss.
Utah's really faced at all a better schedule than Colorado.
So, I mean, luckily this ranking doesn't matter because this game will play itself out there in week 14, which is nice.
Yeah, can we throw up Houston again? Because I had Houston with a better schedule than both of them.
So it's not all about schedule here, Finky.
I know, but they all have the same record, and I think Houston has higher quality wins.
I mean, all they have is Washington, which is 1 win better than USC. And then the higher wins was on Nebraska. So technically Nebraska's the best win out of the 3 for Colorado. And I just think, in general, you can't see the CUSA as like this powerhouse anymore because Rice 3 losses, Louisiana 3 losses. Like, it's not like they're elite anymore.
I leave Houston behind the other 2.
I do too. I think they're 10, but 8 and 9 I think is Colorado or Utah.
I would still put Houston ahead of the other 2, if I'm being honest. But
this man is on the Houston cock today. Dogwater, what do you think?
I mean, they've got a better loss. I would take that Georgia loss over the Arkansas one, and then
Okay.
I forget who. Well, Utah had a good loss, but they didn't really have
to
a good
Cal.
loss. Yeah.
I mean, so it's like you think Washington's that much better of a win, even though it was by 4.
I mean, I still put some stock in the Rice win, and not to mention they did blow out both Rice and ULL.
But I mean, those wins are just as good as
those are.
I think you're
USC.
also.
They blew out.
I think you're also overestimating the strength of the Conference USA compared to like the Pac-12 and the Big 12.
That
I
may
think
be fair, but
I think there's an argument to put Houston over Colorado just because of the FCSs and the W. But as far as Utah, like, sure they don't have any marquee wins, but they're still facing the Pac-12, which is a good conference.
Agreed.
And they're blowing the fuck out of people. Does Dogwater have anything to say?
No, I agree.
With what? Okay.
Okay.
Oh, I would be okay with doing Utah, Houston, Colorado. Even though I want
be all right with
Colorado,
compromising
Houston.
that if you would be willing to compromise that.
Can you live with that?
yeah. Oh, I was also going to say we might want to look at Tennessee and Northwestern just to see if either of the 2 of those are kind of have significantly better
That's
resumes.
Yeah. All right, so Tennessee, Kansas, not looking as great. That's similar to Washington now. Ole Miss, not looking that great either. 2 straight losses. Florida, 1-point loss. That's one of the better losses in the country. Georgia is a good win. So common opponent, they're over Houston. And then you got Auburn, South Carolina, and then Bama seems like a decent win by 3. Buffalo, obviously the loss. So on it, I mean, do you put Tennessee above Houston with the common opponent, or do you take that Buffalo loss into account?
I mean, I think I would probably put Tennessee over Houston and I guess over Colorado too.
What?
Yeah, I think you might, honestly. Like, those
All
wins
right,
are
who's
just
the other one? Big 12 or Big 10?
Big 10,
Northwestern.
Northwestern.
All right, so FCS, whatever. Tulsa, UAB, Indiana, nothing there. Double overtime to Ohio State. So I think that has some merit, honestly. Like, they're like a fringe one-loss team. Minnesota, that Rice loss sucks, but it's still better than a Buffalo loss.
Yeah, there's
But
only
you can't, I don't think you can put them over Houston, considering what Houston did to
Yeah.
Rice.
Yeah, you got Iowa's good win. Purdue and Wisconsin are meh. Welcome
How's
in,
that?
Nick. We're debating Tennessee if they're above any of these one-loss teams, so you came at the right time.
Yeah, I guess
I
I
don't
have
know.
to kind of shut up.
Okay, so so far, just to catch you up, we're at 8 right now. We have 1 Baylor, 2 Boston College, 3 Michigan State, 4 Ohio State, 5 ECU, 6 Cal, 7 Florida.
Okay.
So at 8,
7 Florida, wow.
yeah,
That's not surprising.
I didn't have the vote to ditch US or ECU down there. Okay,
Yeah,
so
I will say, so here's my one thing is that I am confused on why. So, like, Florida has a lot of really big wins, right? Like, or like a
No.
decent win.
we're
No?
looking
That
at
was
it here.
the
We'll just
major-
go back to
No.
this real quick. So
That was the major knock
Mississippi State, meh. MC State, meh. Texas, meh. Tennessee's a great win. UK, meh. Oklahoma, meh.
Oh,
Auburn,
yeah,
meh.
they do kind of.
Lost to Georgia in overtime. ODU, meh. South Carolina, meh. No wins against over 500 except Tennessee. And then
I want you
I
to
guess
know, by the oh, go ahead. Sorry.
and I'll just flash ECU's resume. I didn't
Sorry,
keep it though.
Tara's listening to our whole conversation, so I just want y'all to know that we're
Yo,
just.
what's poppin'?
Anyways, all right. Go ahead.
All right, and then
With
ECU,
risk.
they liked Buffalo, ASU, Rutgers.
Oh, ASU is a pretty good win, yeah, actually.
Yeah. So, all right, but back to where we're at. So I think we're trying to decide: are we gonna put? So is everyone saying Tennessee is better than Houston and Colorado?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So now we gotta decide Tennessee, or do you go
So
Utah?
are we saying Utah at the 8?
I would
I-
like Utah at the 8.
Yeah, I would agree there. So okay, Utah 8, Tennessee 9.
Yep, I'm good with that.
All right, and then do we go Houston 10, Colorado 11?
I think I like that because I don't think you can't put Northwestern up there
Yeah.
unless maybe you could put Northwestern in front of Colorado.
No, stop dicking Colorado down.
No.
Come on. Arkansas
No, I
has
think
actually
Colorado
shown they're a
beats
decent win.
teams more convincingly.
Houston,
All right, that's fine.
Colorado. Okay, so 12. I think I left. Fuck. I think as far as 2-loss teams, we put Tennessee. 2-loss Arizona State. We'll flash that.
Wait,
here.
okay, I will say I'm kind of confused. So you guys think that no matter, like, you guys think that Houston is better than any 2-loss Power 5 or G5 team?
So we have Houston above. We have Tennessee above Houston, and then we have.
Oh, I thought you said Houston was at like 10.
They
They
are,
are, but Tennessee's at 9.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you all were deliberating on Tennessee like 12 now. I was like confused.
No,
I
no,
was
no.
like,
No.
Tennessee's
Okay,
at
so-
9, Houston 10, Colorado 11. So once again, here's ASU. There are 2 loss. I think probably Northwestern is the move here, but let's just take a gander just to make sure. We already have Houston.
Yeah.
So Northwestern, I'll flash them again. This is going to be a big game against Illinois. That's going to be for the division. So I think you do kind of have to look at Illinois. I don't think they have the same resume. I mean, they lost to Baylor and Minnesota.
Yeah.
They're
Yeah,
lucky
I mean,
they
they
don't
kind of
have
failed
to
in their
face.
only 2 big chances.
Right.
Um,
So they're on the back end of the 2 lossers. We already have these 2 ranked. And
I'm
then,
gonna be muted for the most part. The only time I'm really gonna talk is if I feel like something's a little like unjust or like that I disagree with.
all right. So then Miami, really their only big win was
Mid.
FSU.
2
Lost to
tough
Duke.
losses too.
Yeah. So I don't think you rank them. So I
I
think
think
right
it's pretty-
now, it's pretty much. I think you go Northwestern and then ASU.
What about A&M? Look at A&M.
Oh yeah,
A&M,
we
yeah,
gotta
would
talk
also-
about A&M.
And then I think you can honestly throw in Georgia and Alabama here too as 3 lost
3
teams.
I don't know.
Yeah, you're
I
getting a
think
little
you-
wild
you
there.
throw them in
All the way
You're getting
up
a little
here?
wild.
No. Come on, no.
You're getting a little wild.
I think you should at least look at their resumes because they've 3
3
certainly
loss
beat-
in the top 15. No, that can't. Not right now.
I mean, a lot of teams did lose this week, so we'll have
Eh.
to see.
Yeah,
Okay,
I mean, if
but-
you're running this thin on 2 losses, you might as well at least give them a look.
All right, so Ole Miss turned out not to be as big of a win, and then the loss at Oklahoma and Western Kentucky just both look so bad. I
think Northwestern's better than that.
Yeah,
Right,
Northwestern at least
Northwestern.
has quality losses.
So I think it's Northwestern
Hey,
12
12.
and ASU. I don't think there's anyone better. All right. So, yeah. Okay. Are we good? We're at 13.
This,
Are we good?
yeah,
Oh
this
my
one
God.
might be a little
Okay.
bit of a strange suggestion, but could we look at Toledo?
Oh my God! This man is fucking crazy. Think out of the committee,
Look,
dude.
I just
Toledo at
want to look at
14.
Toledo. I just want to look at their resume because I know they've
Wait,
got a
did
couple.
Toledo beat Buffalo?
Yeah.
Oh,
They did.
disgusting.
So they lost to Miami, lost to BC, won in overtime against Western Michigan. Ugh.
Okay.
Dude.
So they
But
really
Toledo-
didn't do anything
A top
non-conference.
15 resume.
Vic,
Yeah,
if you
I honestly, I didn't-
suggest Toledo here, I'm gonna kick you out
No,
of
no,
the
no.
committee.
I'm not going to actually suggest Toledo here because they really haven't done anything non-conference other than
All right.
lose to
Let's get
BC.
back on
But
track. We're at 14. All right, so let's just reassess. You can start thinking about Miami here. 5 straight.
Mm.
Is that 5 straight wins?
No.
Losses.
Straight.
Um,
I
No,
think
I would
you
probably
consider
have
some 3
Miami
lost
at
teams in
the
front of them.
very
you
back
you
of the
do
2
rank
lost
them, but
teams.
yeah, not here. This is
Yeah.
MTSU schedule. I do think you rank them, but it
They
was
have
a
a
winning
huge
game-winning
win over
field goal.
Rikers.
They
Yeah,
did
but
beat
just
Rutgers,
as bad
nobody
loss.
It's
else.
an old win though. Good lord.
Flyers lost again.
Boise's
I
are
mean-
only P5 victory. That's really not much.
Yeah, I'd have a hard time ranking in MTSU.
All right, Big 12. As far as teams that will probably still be ranked, I think Kansas, close loss to Tennessee, close loss to Nebraska. So I think you still have to give Nebraska the head-to-head, and they lost TCU.
Yeah, that's a win versus a Cardale Jones Tennessee though.
Yeah, true. Iowa State, they had 2 bad games. One was game day, and then they just got drummed by Baylor. And they
God
OT
dang.
against Eastern Michigan. Not worthy to rank here. Nebraska, they were 16 last
Nebraska
week.
and Minnesota wins though are pretty solid for Iowa
Yeah.
State. But yeah, they've got some real blemishes.
Yeah.
So Illinois and Minnesota and
Illinois
Miami.
is the pick, honestly, for me.
So Illinois, that's where we're at right now. All right, let's take a look at Minnesota because they are rankable. Obviously, the Baylor win is huge, number 1, best win in the country according to us. A very close loss to Ohio State, got smoked by NU, smoked by ISU. Did beat Illinois, so this seems super up and down.
Yeah, well, but also the thing is like even their unranked games are like pretty decent guys. So like I saw Tulane in there, I saw like Maryland in there, Iowa, Georgia Tech. Like you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
they're all
Yeah.
extremely solid as well. I wouldn't actually mind ranking Minnesota in the next
I'd say
couple.
the biggest problem with Minnesota is like outside of that Baylor game, they don't really win big. I mean, a lot of their wins are pretty close.
Yeah, I would probably put Minnesota as the third best 3-loss team behind Alabama and Georgia. I mean, we'll see the resumes here shortly, but right now.
Yeah.
I don't think you rank anybody here. We had LA Tech at 20 last week, and they lost to Tulane.
Yeah.
Not right now, at least. Independence, I think we might have to look at Notre Dame. I don't think here, but a close loss to Baylor.
It really does drop off a
Stanford.
ton, doesn't it?
Is that about to be game day next week? MECU?
Dude, they have no quality wins, though. Yeah,
They've
we're at a
never had
point where it's
any
like a
quality
little
wins.
meh.
Toledo.
No, not Toledo.
You thought I was
All right,
crazy.
we
for
have
talking
these
about
We
that.
ranks.
Did we rank ASU at 13?
Yeah.
All right, I was just wondering.
Washington,
Yeah.
I think,
Washington
might
doesn't have a
sneak
bad
in
loss.
to a rank. I mean, okay, here's the schedule. K-State, not a great win. Close loss ASU. Wake, Arizona's their best win. But you do have to rank them over Arizona. So this is a team that screams every time they play a good team, they don't win.
For me, I think I like Texas A&M here, honestly.
I'm thinking probably Texas A&M and then Illinois. But here, let's take a look. All right, Ole Miss, they've had a really bad 2 weeks. Just their defense is coming through. Their offense is just broken.
Yeah.
But then again, you look, 2 wins, 0, 5. And then they lost Tennessee.
Georgia's
They
a
did have
good
a win
win.
over Georgia. So you probably have to honor the head-to-head over Georgia.
But it goes back to how much we want to honor the head-to-head, because Minnesota did beat Illinois, so.
That's true. But I do think Illinois probably, I don't know. And then this is Alabama, 2 bad losses in a row. See, this is the strength of schedule we've been expecting out of the SEC. Like, this is the gauntlet right here, these 4 weeks. They go 2-2.
So, I mean, I think you have to put Bama over Georgia because of that head-to-head, because, I mean, they thumped them.
Yeah, Georgia lost to both Bama, Tennessee, and
But Georgia
Ole
does have
Miss.
that Houston win, which is really, really nice.
And they do have the Florida win. So that's the thing. There's head-to-head, but they have
okay.
the 2 better wins, right?
Yeah. No, that's a fair point.
I think that's what we were talking about last
Georgia
week.
have to go above Bama because those wins are legit.
So where do we go here? So the 2 losses, I think you go Texas A&M, probably, as I hate to say it, Georgia, and then probably Illinois.
Didn't A&M and Georgia play? I could have swore that was...
No, they did not play.
No, okay.
Common opponent, though, Texas A&M beat Ole Miss, and
Well, I'm
Georgia
sure they have a lot
lost.
of common opponents being in the same conference.
Well, yeah. So, everyone okay with Texas A&M at 14, though?
Yeah.
Okay. This is a tough-ass week. Okay.
It really is.
Yeah, no, we just hit like a mud pile of teams.
Yeah, so I think rankable, these 3 teams right here, I think you put Georgia over both of them, though, despite the head-to-head, because of those 2 quality wins.
Do they both have head-to-heads over him?
Yeah, Ole Miss beat them, Alabama beat them, but Georgia beat Florida and Houston.
Yeah, those wins are crazy.
So
That's so tough, actually.
I think out of these 3, you probably put Georgia. And then
Yeah.
I think those. I don't know if you put those 3 above Miami.
I think Florida State probably deserves a look here.
I mean, so Miami has the win over Florida State. Florida State lost to Virginia Tech. Shit.
Yeah, that's
Maryland.
a really
No.
tough one.
Fuck these guys. God damn, where do we go?
All right, here's what I
This
think you
is so
do is I
rough.
think you write down all of the teams that are like kind of around this threshold, like maybe the best 10 teams left, and I think you just have to like say, okay, which one's the best from here, and just rank them like 1 to 10.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
I think-
agree. Because I'm just getting mixed up here. There's
Yeah,
too many
okay.
teams.
So teams we have to rank. Miami for sure.
Yeah.
Miami needs a rank. The rest here, I don't see anyone that has to be ranked. I'll write down Florida State, but they're like an if.
Put like a question mark next to them.
Yeah. Okay, I think you have to rank Mid-Tennessee State. They can still get the auto bid. They're the only other team besides Houston that can get the auto bid.
I think
Have
they'd be
they-
like 20s though.
Well,
Have
yeah,
they
I'm not
Rutgers
saying
played
here.
yet?
Yeah, they have the win over Rutgers. That's their best
Okay.
win. So they beat Rutgers. Boise State, nothing. But they still could beat me. So I think you have to just...
My opinion is we should rank Toledo.
No.
Yes,
No,
let's go.
get her out of here. No Toledo, bro.
Yeah, Toledo.
Nick, control it. Alright. Kansas, I think you put in the situation, even though they're kind of behind some teams. But we still got to put them down. Iowa State, I'm going to write them down, even though I don't think they go here.
Oh,
No. Nebraska, same deal. You have to kind of write them down because they have head-to-head over a lot of these teams. Man, this is just like a shit fest.
It really is.
Illinois,
And then that's it from there.
and then Minnesota.
Oh yeah, Minnesota.
Nobody else. CA USA, nobody else right now.
Yeah, no one there.
Yeah.
Arizona.
Notre Dame. We're not there yet, buddy. Notre Dame. Mac. I think not right now. Just the way the board's looking. I think we come back to that. San Diego State, if there's a 2-loss G5 you rank, I think it's them. Because they blow everyone
Yeah.
down.
Agreed.
So I'm putting a question mark though. Pac-12. Got these guys. If you rank another Pac-12 team, you got to go Washington first before Arizona because of the head-to-head between those two.
Okay.
But I'm gonna write them both down. Please keep Dogwater in the combo. And then SEC, you
And then
got
those
Ole
three.
Miss. You got Georgia.
Wait, did Ole Miss have another one?
Bama.
Yeah, they lost Arkansas.
Yeah, they lost to Arkansas.
Arkansas?
It was
Ooh.
disgusting. 21-11.
Damn.
Why are they so bad?
Damn.
They've fallen off.
Alright. Alright. Yeah, I mean, two losses in a row, the kind of shit. And then Sun Belt, if you rank somebody, probably Georgia Southern, but I don't think you rank them.
Actually, I think I might put Georgia Southern over SDSU if we had to debate that.
Alright, so honestly for me, best teams remaining, for me it's either Georgia, Minnesota, or Illinois.
Georgia to me out of those, just because of those.
I think I like it in that order.
Yeah, I was gonna say I like him in that order as well.
What was it? Georgia, Minnesota, Illinois?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. UGA, Mini, and then who was it? It was Illinois. Alright, let me cross these hoes out.
And then did Ole Miss play Bama?
Let's check. That's a good one. Let's see. They don't play.
They don't. Jeez. Keeps getting tougher.
Who's a big common opponent? Not really one. They lost to Tennessee by less, I guess. I think we've kind of... I think just the way, though, I think you put Bama over Ole Miss right now. because they've lost twice in a row. They've mustered all of 13 and then 11 points. Like, that's just bad.
I agree.
Okay, so right now, here are the teams I have left written down. Okay, that's Bama. Okay, so I have Miami, MTSU, Kansas, Iowa State, Nebraska, Notre Dame, Washington, Arizona, Ole Miss, Bama. I think I'm looking at this. It's Miami, Bama, and Ole Miss for me are the next tier.
And I think I put the 2 SEC teams in front of Miami, honestly.
Yeah, because of the strength
Miami's
of schedule.
bad losses.
Yeah, but you still have to honor the only 2.
Yeah.
All right, so I would say Bama, Ole Miss, and then Miami.
Love that.
What are we at right now? Like, what is Miami ranked at that point?
Miami would be 20.
Okay. So now I think we got to start looking at like MTSU.
All right, so yeah, so now I have MTSU, which you think you have to rank over JSOW and SDSU. I have Florida State written down. I don't think you put them here because I think Kansas, Iowa State, Nebraska. You have Notre Dame. Let's check Notre Dame again. Oh my God, why do I leave the screen? All right. Notre Dame. They have such a bad schedule. I mean, Duke's a decent win though. Baylor's
Well,
a
I'd
close
say
loss.
West Virginia.
Are we like
West
their
Virginia's a
best
better
win
win
is
than
Duke,
Duke.
and we're about to be like, oh, okay, let's rank them? No, that's. I'm sorry, but like your best
you
win
cannot
is
rank them.
Duke
Wisconsin and Stanford.
at
That's
home.
awful.
Yeah, okay. No Notre Dame. I'll cross them out.
Yeah, I mean, they'd probably even be below Arizona. And I mean, whew.
So, okay, so it's really down to 3 lost teams in MTSU. I think, honestly, MTSU's better.
I agree.
I think if you say anyone, it's either Kansas or Iowa State, but I just, such a bad
Arizona
loss.
has the head-to-head over Iowa State.
True. I think Kansas is the better Big 12 team out of any of these ones, to be honest. Because this loss is just so rough.
I mean, yes, it is, but like that's a huge win against or at Minnesota, right? It's like at Minnesota is a big win, and it's like a kind of a blowout. So they have like a signature win. They have Kiko, who's like always a really great player. I think Iowa State has a bunch going for him.
Now, I know Iowa State has the head-to-head over Arizona, but then Washington has the head-to-head over.
I think Washington, Washington. What is that?
So
Washington, Iowa State.
Yeah. So okay,
yeah.
I think
I don't know if I'm supposed to comment here since Kansas is being discussed, but I would put Washington over pretty much all those teams that have been mentioned so far.
I do too, just because these 3 lost teams all have a bad loss somewhere. A lot of them can't win the big game, but this one they don't have any games where they stumbled where they shouldn't have. Like, I think you could argue Houston was a bad loss earlier in the year, but they've proven that they're at least,
I mean, it was a 4-point game. It's not like it was a blowout.
Exactly, and it was a close loss to ASU. The Cal game's a tough one. That was game day, if you remember, and they suck on game.
But I mean, Cal's a really good team.
Yeah. Okay, so
I feel like you guys are.
Or go ahead.
I feel like you're forgetting about MTSU here.
Yeah, no, I was gonna say.
No, because they have the worst loss of any team. I mean,
Charlotte's not that great of a loss.
The team that lost to an FCS, Charlotte.
Yeah, but I still care more about like wins than like obviously we care about like bad losses.
I think they have a better win than Washington.
See, that's what
than these teams.
But they just have so much of a worse loss.
I get it, but like at some point, like they all have losses. You know what I mean? It's like, are we saying that one bad loss is worse than 3 loss? You know what I mean?
Isn't their only real win Rutgers? I mean, like that's a solid win, but I would probably put the on the road against Arizona win on about the same tier at least.
But I think you can also make the argument though that Washington never shows up on big games, like when they're on stream, they don't score. Flipper Masters is a more exciting player.
Because I mean, they also always play defense pretty much.
Yeah.
And then I mean they've played 3 teams that we've considered to be in the like echelon of actually decent teams. So I mean, I don't know. It's hard for me
Alright.
to rank any of these other teams ahead of Washington.
So Washington or MTSU, everyone vote. I say MTSU, then Washington.
I agree.
I agree.
I'd go Washington and MTSU.
So, Fink is outvoted. Alright, so we have 3 spots left, 23 through 25. Here are the teams still left. You have Georgia Southern, San Diego State, Florida State. I don't think they have a say here. Kansas, Iowa State, Nebraska, or Arizona. I think, personally, the best team left is Kansas. Honestly,
I
the
actually
three,
agree with that.
the 3 best for me would be Kansas, probably Arizona, just because they have the head-to-head over Iowa State, and then 25 either go Iowa State or SDSU. That's just my take.
Dude,
What do you guys
I think you have to go Georgia Southern if you take that route for 25.
Yeah, I like
So you
Georgia
think-
Southern better than SDSU.
You guys like Georgia Southern? Okay. All right, I can concede there. Fink.
He's on a 5-game win streak too.
I
He
would
did
go
be okay.
Toledo.
So you do have to honor the head-to-head though, don't
Yeah.
you? For Georgia Southern over Arizona.
Well, at what
Would
point
you-
are we keeping going with these head-to-heads? Because then you have to put Washington and Georgia Southern in front of Arizona.
No, Georgia
But then
Southern
also
has 2
keeping them-
disgusting losses.
Yeah, that's true. The UNC loss is horrific.
Tulsa's
Yeah.
So is
worse.
Tulsa.
But I will say though, Georgia Southern kind of has a strong schedule. I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bowl eligible teams in a 9-game schedule. That's better than a lot of schedules we've seen.
Yeah, and I mean they beat all of them too. So I
Yeah.
can certainly respect Georgia Southern, but wow, those losses are bad.
So I think if you rank Georgia Southern, it's 25.
You know, that's where I was. That's my opinion on
Okay.
it. Is at 25.
Yeah,
So
I think you need to give Toledo a look as well.
all right, let's just honor your Toledo crap.
I mean,
Brent
they've got
Hundley
2
is
really
not
good
the
wins.
truth. BC loss, okay, it's a touchdown at home. You know, they're great.
I mean, that's our number 2 team in the country.
They beat Boise on the road. Okay, G5 or a Power 5 win. An 11-point loss against one of their biggest rivals in SFA history. Overtime
And then
loss
you would have
against
to honor
WMU.
head-to-head there.
No overtime win. It's WMU.
Yeah, overtime
Oh,
win.
yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, so that was
And
a loss.
then you
Tripping.
have Kent and Buffalo, which is a better win than a 5-4 team. You would say. I still think JSOW is a bit better because, like,
Agreed.
I don't know.
I just think Toledo, especially that BC loss, being competitive against one of the top teams in the country, I think I'd put them over Georgia Southern, who lost to one of the worst teams in the ACC.
Okay, so but you gotta consider what we're doing. Are we going to say somebody's better because of what they failed to do? They failed to beat BC, but because it was close, we'll rank them higher. Or do you say, hey, Georgia Southern's better because they've beaten 5 bowl eligible teams? So if
I feel
I
like we're
just
getting ahead of
compare
ourselves
it,
here.
if I
Don't we still
compare
have
it-
like 3-loss Power 5 teams?
Yeah, so we still have Iowa State, Nebraska, Kansas, and Arizona. But the reason we're debating JSOW is because they have the head-to-head over Arizona. So, like, if we rank a G5, I think it's at 25. So, we got to figure out, I think 23 is probably Kansas. And then you just have to decide between Iowa State, Nebraska, and Arizona. I know that Arizona has the head-to-head over Iowa State, though. But then again, Iowa State has big wins. So it's like, what the fuck do we do? Not making it easy this year.
Yeah, and Iowa State has
Minnesota.
the head-to-head on Nebraska.
What the fuck, dude?
Well,
Yeah.
I would say Kansas here at 23.
Yeah, no, Kansas is my 23 for sure.
Yeah, okay. Let's write in
So at least we
Kansas.
can lock that.
Tough loss, but everyone has a
At
tough
this
loss.
point, I guess it's like if fucking Fink and TC just want to look at Arizona and Iowa State and just decide between those two for 24.
In 25. Yeah, I mean that's probably.
Because we're giving Gasso 25, so
Yeah.
Well, I mean, if we're comparing Iowa State versus Arizona, we have a game day to watch, and Kiko didn't show up. It would be Arizona if we're comparing those two. I mean, so we have 3 teams we're looking at for 2 spots, and Arizona lost to both of them. Or sorry, no, it's like a 3-way circle jerk, right?
yeah.
So, I mean, then is Iowa State the odd team out, or what? Think, because they can't talk.
Gosh, can we look at Arizona's schedule?
Yeah. It's not going to be that great. I mean, JSOW, a win in overtime against Georgia Tech. Close wins. This is their biggest win, obviously, is the Iowa State. And they lost to Washington. Lost to USC.
Yeah, so I mean, I don't really hate their losses. And they've got the Iowa State win's a good one. Stanford's an okay win since it was on the road.
So I think you got
And
to
they've
rank.
got a really good opportunity next week, but I don't know about. It's a really convincing win over Iowa State. It'd be hard for me to put Iowa State over Arizona.
Yeah, I think you have to put Arizona above them. I think though it's like. All
But
right,
can we look at
good?
Nebraska again?
Nebraska. Yeah.
Yeah.
This man wants to rank Nebraska.
Don't forget about Washington either.
We have them at 22.
Oh, okay.
So
they've got
okay,
the win at
Nebraska.
Arkansas.
I mean, okay, if you want to be fair, Arkansas is an okay win. Then they had just 3 easy ass shit games. Kansas State on their 3rd string quarterback. Kansas a 3 win. Okay, that's a good one. Lost on game day. Lost by 3 to Iowa State. I think you kind of.
Yeah, but I
might
mean,
have
on the
to honor
road,
it.
I can overlook a 3-point loss on the road.
Yeah, but is there losses to? Okay, Colorado lost. That's fine. Whatever. West Virginia 7-point loss on the road, and then Iowa State. What are their losses? Oklahoma State by 10 on the road. That's worse than West
Yeah,
Virginia. Arizona.
and that was at home by 2
yeah,
touchdowns, which is tough, and then killed by Baylor.
Killed by Baylor.
They do have the Minnesota win and the Nebraska win, which are good, but I think their losses have been kind of so rough, and they had that really definitive one to Arizona. I think Iowa State's out for me personally.
Okay. So where do you go? Do you go Arizona then Nebraska, or do you go
I
Arizona?
think I would probably go Nebraska then Arizona.
Nebraska. I mean, okay, they have 7
Yeah.
wins. Let me just look at this again.
They've got
Arkansas
7
is a
wins.
decent win.
They've beaten a few good teams, and I don't think they really have an embarrassing loss.
Now, here's the thing, though. That 3 losses out of their last 4 games. They're trending in the very wrong direction.
Yeah, but I mean, those are also a lot of the tougher teams that they played this season.
So, like, do you want to rank them still, or do you want to reward a team like Georgia Southern, who's a lot better? Like, 5 straight wins. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, you could definitely look at kind of the streak aspect of it. That's a fair point.
Well, okay, so it's not just the streak, but if you look at wins, their best win is Kansas, who is 6, and then Arkansas, who is 6, and then you have App State, FCS, 3rd string quarterback Kansas State, Mizzou, who sucks.
Yeah. The one thing really benefiting them is a lot of those bad teams they played, they did blow out. So, I mean, they beat them how you should, which I think should be taken into account at least.
So, what I think is you go Georgia Southern 24 and 25 you go Arizona, just because of the head-to-head. I think, personally, Iowa State is out, though. So I think, Ron, you can weigh in now, because I don't think me or Fink thinks Iowa State will be ranked.
And I would agree with what you just said. Georgia Southern because of the head-to-head of Arizona. That makes sense to me.
I just think if we are honoring Houston's strength of schedule as like a G5 team, I think then you have to also honor the fact that Georgia Southern has beaten 5 or
And
6
if we are going
bowl
to
eligible
factor,
teams.
if we're going to factor in the streak aspect, I mean, 5 straight against 4 bowl eligible teams is pretty impressive.
Yeah. And they're all 2-score wins as well. I mean, technically, 7 points FAU, no, and then 7 points to USA, and 7 to Southern Miss. I don't know what I'm saying. If you think about individual players, you got Jeff Driscoll versus Gunnar Cruz. Kiko obviously wins that. I don't know. I think we can pretty much do anything we want here. I think it's more so sending a message about what we're going to be valuing at the end of the season. Are you just going to value wins, losses? What do you guys think?
I just don't think it makes sense to put Arizona in front of Georgia Southern when it's one spot and we have a head-to-head.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I can't weigh in, but I also agree with that.
All right, so me and Ron think right now it's Georgia Southern and Arizona. Do you have?
I've come around on Georgia Southern at 24. I'm good with that.
Okay.
I think I would probably still go Nebraska 25 over Arizona.
All right, let's take one more look at both. So 7-3, 10 games in. Best wins, Kansas and Arkansas, and then they have CU and Iowa State that are not bad losses at all. Not that great of a win against West Virginia. And then if we go to, against West Virginia. And then you go Arizona, 6-3. Lost to JSOU early. Lost to Washington and a loss to USC. Their best wins. They do have the win over Iowa State, who would be 26 in our rankings.
So if we're going with best wins with our rankings, it would be Nebraska.
Who they have the win over? Oh, yeah.
They have the win over Kansas.
Yes. Okay, so if you go by common opponents, it would be Nebraska. One less total win, and then overtime against Georgia Tech. Not that great.
1-score game against South Alabama.
Yeah,
And
that's
I would say their
South
losses.
Alabama's been rebounding. I think they're better than their record shows.
I think the losses are pretty even as far as USC versus West Virginia, and then as far as like Washington and the Iowa State loss. But okay, common opponents. I think Iowa State and a win over Iowa State. Nebraska lost to Iowa State. So don't you have to take in consideration that common opponent?
Yeah, I mean that's fair.
It's really tough.
Yeah,
I mean, it's kind of like
a little bit
toss
of
up.
splitting hairs.
It's like a
Okay.
toss-up, yeah.
So we have 3. Why don't we just all vote, and then we'll go from there. So Ron, or think, what do you guys?
I'll keep Arizona. I'll stay Arizona.
All right, I'm gonna go. I would say probably Arizona just because of the common opponent, even though I don't like it.
Yeah.
I'd go Nebraska, but I mean they're so similar.
It's
I don't
the
think it matters
same
much
the
either
same
way.
thing.
All right, so I have 1 through 25. I'm gonna go back through it just in case you guys want to bring back up anything if you want to look at it. Baylor at 1, BC 2, Michigan State 3, Ohio State 4, ECU 5, Cal 6, 7 Florida, 8 Utah, 9 Tennessee, 10 Houston, 11 Colorado, 12 Northwestern, 13 ASU, 14 A&M, 15 Georgia, 16 Minnesota, 17 Illinois, 18 Bama, 19 Ole Miss, 20 is Miami, Middle Tennessee State is 21, Washington 22, 23 is Kansas, 24 is Georgia Southern, and 25 is Arizona.
Good.
I think that's a pretty good list And remember, we have 3 more weeks before conference championships, so it's going to change a lot anyways.
I think it's pretty solid.
I'm pretty good with it.
Alrighty. Same thing as always. Rules apply. Don't spoil the rankings before they're posted. And then, if you guys want to help out with recruits, you can.
I can't tonight.
Okay, that's fine. So this will take me a few minutes though to get posted, but I'm gonna post that first. So I'm gonna stay in this chat though. But yeah, so that's gonna end the committee.